There we go.
That's a good one.
So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
I think you're number 28 or 29. I've lost count.
That's crazy. It's so fun.
Yeah.
It's such such an interesting concept.
Yeah.
What made you want to start doing this?
I was on a few other people's podcasts, and it was really easy and fun. And it was also a good excuse to see those people. Just to be on a podcast. I was like, I miss my friends. What's a good excuse to see them? A
Yeah.
bunch of people that normally doesn't line up. So, podcasts. So, and plus I consume a lot of podcasts. So I was like, what's the difference? I think I can talk a lot.
Yeah.
Let's do it. So here we are.
Yeah, totally.
So go ahead and introduce yourself and your famous titles and all that.
Yeah. Well, my name's Nathan Hoefert with Nathan Hoefert Photography. I've been photographing weddings for a few years, events for a little while, and I just have been taking pictures the better half of my life.
Awesome. And so you're an Alton High School alumni, right?
Yeah. So.
That's where I think I remember you is you were in the multimedia class? Or
Yeah, with Brian Bergen.
Yes. God bless Bergen.
Oh man. And then Miss Heck, Bridget Heck.
Yep.
She really introduced me to photography. And then Mr. Bergen, he was the one who had like the cameras and like he like let me really explore.
Yeah.
I mean the school, it was just such a good fun time. Miss Heck, Bridget, she just retired.
Did she?
I'm pretty sure she did from Alton High. And like I saw her post on Facebook and I was like, I really need to like comment because like she gave me like it was not necessarily like, and same with Bergen. It's like they didn't really necessarily. I mean, I learned a lot from them. They gave me a classroom. They gave me an opportunity to learn something that I didn't know whenever I walked in the doors the first time.
Yeah.
But it also gave me a safe place to realize, like just kind of like figure out who I wanted to be. Because like that high school time is like such a weird time in everybody's lives. It's like you're trying to like fit in with friend groups, like you're trying to learn like who you are as a person. And luckily like I made good decisions, also bad decisions, but I mean like yeah, of course. And like eventually you figure out who you want to be, and like luckily I had a camera in my hand whenever I realized that. So
back in Tatler, what was your job? Did you get to just have fun, or did you have to actually like do the editing and building of?
No, I don't.
Or were you a part of Tatler, or just advanced photography?
To be honest with you, I don't really remember.
So this is the funny joke, is that I'm closer with Heck now than I was in high school because I never once took one of the photography classes.
I don't think I was in her Tatler class, but I remember I submitted all my photos to her and like them for the Tatler.
That's dope.
So like I remember like one year I had a ton of photos in the Tatler, and it was so cool. It was like so like affirming in some fun way.
You're like, I'm official, and you know those last forever.
Yeah.
You see how well they like archive them. So like,
Yeah.
you get an old man one day, and I'm like, I should get Tatler. No, but yeah, high school. I am so lucky that Bergen existed because I started my business in high school, and like I already had a business before I was allowed in multimedia.
That's nuts.
So I was like the first junior to ever be able to get in that class, and I like begged administration.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, he gave me full free reign, and God bless the grants for all the cameras and all that. Because in your guys' era, you had the Zooms. Is that what they were?
Oh yeah, those little. Yeah, those things were.
Worse than a flip phone.
I know.
But they were so cool back
Yeah.
then. Yeah.
Shout out to Bergen. Shout out to Heck.
Yes. Shout out Alton High for having a decent extra curriculum.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so after high school, did you stick with photography, or did you kind of like put it on the back burner?
No, so I went to I was in the journalism class at Alton High, and from there I remember I went to like the journalism competitions, and one of them was down at SIU Carbondale. So like I remember I went down there and I participated in the photography, the part of it, and it was so fun, and I loved the school so much that that was the one and only school I applied for after high school, and like luckily I got it.
Nice.
So yeah, then I went to school there for photojournalism.
How was that? Because I always wonder what photo college
It
is
was
like.
it
What
was
do they do?
wild. It was like, so like my freshman and sophomore year, I did like the junior and senior photo classes because so I did everything on the front end that I was supposed to do on the back end.
Nice.
So like that means my senior year I was taking like math with freshmen, but like it was, but anyways, like so it was fun because I was like with a lot of like older people, so it helped me like mature as a photographer, mature as a person, and kind of just like really helped me like guide me to like being a photographer for like what I wanted to do. But yeah, so I went to school at SAU Carbondale, and I was fortunate enough I studied abroad my junior year, so I lived in Morocco for a year. And yeah, so like that helped widen my view of the world and kind of like open my eyes to like possibilities like outside of just what I can see like in front of me, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So, whenever you were younger, before high school, did you like dream of being a photographer? What was his dream as a child?
Yeah, I remember like taking those tests or whatever that like it's like, oh yeah, you're gonna be I mean, nothing against it, you're gonna be like a tree climber.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, I don't think so, but the computer tells me that.
Yeah.
No, but like I found it was my great grandfather's like Canon AE1, and like just like with a 50mm lens, and like I found it in my parents' closet, and like I was like maybe like 10 years old, 8 years old or whatever. And I remember like advancing the shutter and just like clicking, like hearing the shutter slap. And I was like, oh man, this is so cool. And like looking in the viewfinder, like just looking through like a 50mm lens, like you're looking at the world through like a window, and you're able to pick and choose things that you want in it, and you can frame things. So it was really interesting.
That's fun. So you still have that, I hope.
Yeah, oh for sure. Yeah, that's
like the center mantle.
yeah. So yeah, that's one of my fun ones. I've got a lot of fun cameras.
Mine's almost backwards. So I grew up, my grandpa always had a VHS, but here recently, my mom was like, oh, I was just thinking about something. Go look in the closet. And I like pull out like her dad's Super 8 film and all the cutting and pasting like stuff to be able to edit all the footage.
Super 8 sounds fun.
And it's all their like childhood vacations.
Mm-hmm.
Come from a long lineage of people with cameras.
Creatives.
And then my papa, who I got to know growing up with the camera, I just recently found his book from whenever he was traveling with war and being serving
Dang.
for the army, and him and his brother's adventures. And all
That's so cool.
And it reminds me of people like our age, like how we shoot and everything. I'm like, and the funny captions that he wrote. I'm like, this is just like Instagram. But
Are they like slides?
no, so he made a scrapbook.
Cool.
So it's like precious. Now I want to get like some fire safe box just for that. So.
Yeah. Do you have negatives of it?
I think somewhere, yeah.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite things to do. So like I found another thing like outside of my great grandfather's camera, my grandma's sister, my great aunt, she was a journalist for the Miami Herald. Wow. And she would like travel the world. And she would always have a camera with her, so she would submit photos and like have those run in her stories. And like, so I was like digging through my grandparents' basement, and like I just stumbled upon this bin of all these negatives. So like a negatives and like a projector. So like I remember being super young, plugging in the projector, and like on my grandparents' like wall, like white wall in their basement, like focusing the projector on the wall and like just like the and like seeing like slide by slide. And I mean, I'm traveling the world. Going through these slides, and I'm like, wow, this is crazy. So I think like that really helped, like really helped me see life as a photographer.
Mm-hmm. That's why I always kind of hope. I'm always thinking about like the legacy that I leave after I die, because we never know what we die. I'm like, I could only hope someone goes through my hard drives one day and like looks at this stupid shit.
Yeah, hard drives are such a funny like concept, because it's like similar to your grandfather's like scrapbook. It's like you have like a physical copy, you're able to see it, you're able to feel it, and like it's somewhat of like an instant gratification of being able to fold over. Whereas like it's so hard to like conceptualize like a legacy on like a hard drive, and
It's going to be outdated, just like the floppy disk one day.
totally.
So, oh yeah, I think about that a lot. I'm like, what? I have to get it carved into an obelisk, like I have like transcribed. Future generations. So what? ADHD, you ready for the?
Oh yeah, let's hear it.
So after college.
Oh yeah. I can go down tangents for sure.
You're good. I switched that one up, but so after college, did you immediately go into like owning your own business, or like you said, you work for enterprise now?
No, so I did a few things. After I graduated, I was like, I don't know what I want to do with my life. I'm like super in this weird place. Like I have a lot of friends that were in the journalism school with me, and like they weren't doing like a career path as a photojournalist for a newspaper wasn't something that I wanted to pursue. Yeah. It wasn't like the writing's kind of on the wall for how the like staff reporters are currently. Like a lot of layoffs are happening, and it's scary. It's a scary time, and like I somewhat saw that whenever I was like my senior year. So I got out of school and I was like, I want to work at a newspaper. So I worked at the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, but I worked as a paper boy. I was just trying to kill time at that moment. I was living with my parents, trying to figure it out where I wanted to go. So I was working, doing paper boy stuff, like giving the paper guys their paper. So I was working at a warehouse. Anyways, but after that, after like 4 months of that, it was third shift, so it was like 7 p.m. to like 6 a.m. But after that, I got a call from, it's a mouthful, it's my second cousin's husband's father. All right. So I got a call from him, and he's like, hey, my dad is doing this sailing trip. Like, do you want to come with, like, and do it? So I was like, yeah, like, let's do it. So I bought my ticket from Boston to the Azorian Islands. So I bought the second leg of the trip, and then I started like really backpedaling. I was like, I don't know if I'm supposed to do this. Like, I don't know if it's meant for me. So I was having a lot of like self-doubt. Mm-hmm. And then like Big T, Grandpa T coming in, he's like, you're doing it. You're going to see this through. This is an opportunity that you just really can't miss. Yeah. So luckily he helped talk me through. Yeah. Did this sailing trip for 6 months. Yeah, so I lived, there was like 4 guys. We did the middle of the Atlantic to the Strait of Gibraltar, so like the tip of Spain. Yeah. We did that. That was a 10-day passage. Yeah. And then 2 guys left, and then it was just Captain George and me, and we did like 5 months up the coast of Spain. Just he and I was like, it was unreal.
That's like the shit that you can write books about.
Oh, totally. Yeah. He was like, I think he was like 68, and here I was like 22.
So much wisdom.
Yeah, and like just zenned out. Like there's only so much you could do on a boat in a country that you don't like. Yeah. I don't know, but. So did you have to learn?
Like I love the YouTube channel Sailing Vagabond, which is like a family that travels.
Yeah, I've heard of it. Yeah.
Did you have to like learn how to take maintenance of the?
Oh yeah. So like.
So you weren't just documenting having a good time. You were working.
Oh yeah, no, I was working. I was like, they called me First Mate Nate.
Nice.
Yeah, for sure. It's actually on my resume, so.
Nice, yes. That's what I'm gonna put as like the description.
First Mate Nate.
First Mate Nate /
Nate Ho photo. Oh my gosh.
That's funny. So that's an experience.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, I did that, and then after I got back from that trip, I was like, I need to get away from the Midwest. Absolutely. Yeah. So then I because my world was like exploding at that moment. Like my scope was everywhere. So I moved to Denver. Yeah. And then I moved to Denver, and I got a job with the help of my cousin. Mm-hmm. I was like for a travel club. So did that for a year and a half. Was it like inside customer service sales? That's fun. It was okay.
It teaches you how to talk to people.
Yeah, definitely teaches you how to talk to people and like how to treat people for sure. And then after that, like I just did like kind of bebopped around to like other like inside sales
That's good.
jobs. Like there's like cold calling. Man, there's nothing I wish
Builds your
worse.
balls, you know?
Oh my gosh, it really does. But
I
it's
hate
so
it.
brutal. Like
Yeah.
dial days of like you have to call like 100 people a day. It's just disgusting.
Yeah, and they like hate you immediately.
Oh yeah. Oh, you learn all the 4-letter words.
That's
Um,
fun. So how
yeah.
long did you end up in Denver for?
I was out there for 5-6 years.
Yeah.
Met my wife out there, Sarah.
And you talked her into coming all the way back here.
Yeah, I know, right? I love it. So yeah, we were set up on a blind date.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so she's also a creative. So she helps me, kind of gives me the bumpers of my bowling lane in a sense, like helps keep me on track.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I did Denver for a while, and then eventually I was like, we wanted to buy a house. We wanted to like move to a different spot. And my family was getting old. My grandparents were getting old. I was like, let's go back to like the Midwest for a few years. And I always say like, you can always take the boy out of the Midwest, but you can never take the Midwest out of the boy.
Yeah.
And like, so we moved back here like 2021,
Yeah.
and just just been here since.
That's good. And well, welcome back. So,
What an intro.
no, so I love Colorado. It's
Yeah.
so pretty. But Denver is the one city I promise I'll never go back to unless you're paying me a lot of money. Just because I didn't realize how long the trip was from the airport to downtown.
That's brutal.
That one thing I was like, I just spent right $150 on this taxi. I never.
Well, there's a light rail.
Yeah, I didn't.
It's only like $15.
That would have been nice to know.
And it's 45 minutes, and it takes you straight to Union Station.
No, I didn't know that. Just crabbing off of a long ass trip, you know.
Oh yeah.
But no. So what is your like current like love and passion? What are you enjoying doing in photography world?
Yeah. So I mean, like, right now I am I just love creating. I love like the storytelling aspect of it. So, like, this is my 3rd wedding season. Last year it was like my yes mentality year, so I was just like saying yes to everything. I was like a piranha on like all those like Facebook groups, and anytime anybody would post a second shooter request, I would tap into like the inside sales Nate, and I would just like write the description that made me sound like I don't know why they wouldn't choose me. And it was so I tried making sure I really stuck out from the group with my portfolio, with just my people skills, because I think that's really what sets people apart.
Absolutely.
It's like if you can add more to a wedding day, way more than just a photographer, but if you can like help out like a bride and groom outside of like the main shooter, and like the main shooter sees that, they're like, this guy is actually like reliable. Like reliability is a huge thing. And like if you can tell a story, like that's even better.
Yeah.
And luckily I had that like photojournalistic background, so I was able to like really kind of tell those stories. So
That's what hold up, brain fart real quick. I want to loop back around to this, the power of editing. And back to it. So one of my friends has a new business. It has to do with wedding stuff, but I love the name of it. Best Friend for the Day.
oh yeah, it's so
Absolutely what
fun.
you are as a vendor, and especially like in photography, if they don't hire a wedding planner, you absolutely
Totally.
take on that role.
Totally.
The second shooters have to
Yeah.
too. So you just gotta be ready, and it makes you look better if you can just handle it without a breeze.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
seen other people crash and burn, but
Yeah.
that's
And
each their own, you know.
it's so funny. It's like, and this could be another tangent we go down. It's like AI.
Oh yeah.
So with AI, I mean, it's taking over every industry. But like, let's like niche it down to the wedding industry or just like the creative industry. So like as a creative, like videographer, photographer, like how are you going to future-proof yourself in an industry that's like ever changing and changing quickly?
Yeah.
So I mean, like I'm currently using after shoots for my culling. I'm using like AI editing, so I'm able to batch edit a ton of photos quickly. And I mean, similar to like same day edits, like how can you incorporate that into your package so it's less work for you, so you can do more of what you love, which is shooting. But it's also like, it's removing an aspect of your business. So how are you going to future-proof the business? It's like you really have to lean into the service side of it.
Yeah, I feel like definitely I agree with everything you just said, but there's like a caveat that I add to it. Me and my dad talk about AI a lot, and AI is definitely a conversation in past episodes. But there's things you can focus on that are absolutely terrifying about AI. Period. No matter what, and if you want to hyper focus on that, you can definitely be super scared. But like what you said, using it as a tool and being ahead of it and not being afraid of it is like super important, because then it frees us up to be more creative or not have such of a headache because we have to go through 1,000 photos to pick out which ones are best or whatever. Or say like with this, I don't have to pay for expensive audio equipment because I can throw it through AI and it's fixed. But I still believe, even though like say animation, like movies and stuff like that, we've watched animation for almost 100 years, and we can still pick out the uncanny valley whenever it's not human made. So I think that's still going to cross over into AI. Will be some trained eyes. Some people are just flying and they choose to be blind, but if you want to train your eye, we'll still be able to tell what's AI or what's not. So have you seen like the video, like dream sequence, almost like created pizza commercial?
No.
That one's crazy. I'm like, yeah, he screams AI. Like,
Or there's a like Mid-Journey, like how they do the hands, because like AI has a really hard time with hands right now. It's like all mangled hands, and like, but once they get that figured out, like AI is going to continuously evolve. But like the one thing is AI isn't autonomous, and AI takes prompts, and AI is nothing without a prompt, and that prompt comes from us. So as long as we're able to still be the one in control, then we have some leverage. But it's really going to affect like your editors, your copywriters. A lot of like the creative fields are like having like a tough time. And it's like it's gonna get worse, which is kind of scary.
That's all about adaptation.
Yeah, adapt or die.
Evolve and grow. And
Yeah.
you can be scared if you want, but I ain't.
It's a new horizon.
Yeah, I definitely try and use the tools, because like say for this like new job I just got, it's in an industry that I'm not familiar with at all, like automotive. And so I'm able to go into like Chat GPT and be like, okay, can you give me some prompts for an Instagram post that has to do with this, and this? No. Like, that sounds right. Copy, paste, done.
Yeah.
It's done for the day.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You can go in and, I mean, yeah, you can train it. It's crazy. And then like you can train it in saying like, write a post for me Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then I want them to be randomized, and I want captions for each one. And then I was like, then you can say, make it into an iCal format, and it'll write a script for you, and then you import that into Google Calendar, and then it will jump into your Google Calendar. So like now it's like streamlining your life.
That's
like
the funny thing is like you have to know how to like feed it all those prompts.
Yeah.
I've talked to other people and they're like, oh well, it just doesn't work for me. I'm like, you're just not giving it enough information. Like you're just like, write me something. I'm like, you're gonna get the most generic response that it gives everyone. But
Yeah.
no, yeah, it's definitely I think the scary part of AI is like already existed, and that's like the algorithm. You know, I put a timer on my phone so it tracks like how much time I spend on each app, and it's almost scary how easy you can fall into the depths of Reels and Facebook Reels and TikTok.
Well, yeah, that's just a dopamine dump. That's like,
But the algorithm knows how to keep you on there.
oh yeah.
So, and that's all. I used to think that was like some board of people that sit down every Wednesday and say, you gotta post a carousel with 5 photos and 2 captions, and that's how you're gonna get viewed. No, it's all AI. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's already happened. Like, is this under control?
Yeah.
So, but to each their own advice, you know.
It's fun to see where it's going though, and like how can you stay ahead of it, and how can you like thrive in it?
Yeah. Just existing and trying your best. That's all you can do.
Yeah.
Watch what other people are doing.
Do you think it's the right thing to do?
What's that?
AI?
Yeah. I don't think it's an option.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what everyone else is pushing. I mean, like, that's what I joked with, I forget who. Oh, it was with Michael on the phone. He's like, I haven't been on social media that much. Jessica screenshot something and sent it to me. And I was like, that's my goal, is to not exist on the internet at all. That'd be beautiful. But, I mean, for a business in this day and age, you don't have that option to be not involved with technology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good transition to like social media and like, I mean, like Instagram or Facebook, Pinterest,
Yeah. LinkedIn.
LinkedIn,
No one needs to be on
Tumblr.
Tumblr's resurrecting. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm just gonna find all my emo pictures from middle school. And
Oh my
there's some things I don't think I want to reconsume. Just let that be on the other side.
Let it rest.
Someone will dig it up.
But yeah, I mean, like they're hard to manage.
Yeah.
They're hard to like, because I mean, like you live your life as a persona. Like you want to be like the person you are.
Yeah.
And then there's your social media persona.
Yep.
And it's like, it's so fabricated. It's just like hard to like make it up and have a voice and have like how do you see yourself with your social media?
Now it's different because before I had a very squeaky clean brand just because it's very much so weddings. So I made sure that it was like appropriate for like bridal that was watching. But now that I've been influenced by other people within the industry, which they thrive on being authentic as fuck. Like Savannah, I forget her last name now, but she's from St. Louis, moved to Ohio, flourished. And she's all about being very open about smoking weed, and she cusses, like on her, like I think on one of her merchandise, it's like her flipping off the camera, or something like that. So super, very cute and authentic, and she's just thriving, doing an amazing job. And then I look at like Strange Donuts. I don't know if you follow their social media. It's just raw and funny, and people like it. So I'm like, people like me. So I used to have very like squeaky clean, very edited, like
cookie cutter.
Megan Fairless, you should give me your money. But now it's like practicing authenticity as much as possible. Like,
Yeah.
if you don't like me, that's okay.
Well, because there's so many cookie cutter accounts out there where it's like the very clean, articulate, like clean, curated Instagram accounts or things like that, and like those are great. Like I mean, those do take a lot of intention and time, and like it takes energy to put that together, which is like something I don't have. Like I don't have the attention to do it. I don't have the discipline to do it. And then there's like, okay, how am I going to put my personal life, like the Nate Ho photo, like how can I post weddings and portraits and just like travel photos, and like I love film photography, so how am I posting like film like walks around St. Louis or something, like but that doesn't really target a specific audience. But at what point does that really matter if you're being authentic? And are people hiring you for your authenticity, or are people hiring you for your curated lifestyle?
I genuinely believe, from my perspective, which I think is different for different people, I think people hire me for my personality, not for, I think it is decent quality, but there's better quality stuff out there if you want better quality, but I think personality is it. But yeah, I didn't practice that.
Do you like watch YouTube videos? So I mean, like, or like Instagram or things like that. Like, do you feel that your content consumption is something that you would like less of, same amount, or more of?
It's weird because it goes in waves. Because like a week ago, I was like overconsumption because I was just looking for an escape just because I was like overwhelmed, which I can tell whenever I get in those moods. But I was able to take a weekend off of like not touching any consumption at all.
Which is great. I love weekends.
I was like, okay, I need to do this more. I just need to be more hyper aware of how much I'm spending. And then it's more about quality of content that I'm consuming. So is it worth to watch this like YouTube drama piece just to see what Tanner Mongoose did? Or
If it fills your cup, yeah.
But yeah, no, I did try and focus more on like watching. I thought I had a spider crawling on me.
I would slap that thing off you.
But like Rob Deerdeck, like he's all about like self motivation. Like, so I try and do stuff
Yeah.
aligned with like.
He's awesome.
I love him religiously every Monday morning. I'm like,
Yeah, I didn't know about him till recently because I just remember him from his MTV days. And then like recently I was like, oh my gosh, this guy has like really good information.
yeah. So it's nuts. Yeah, I absolutely love him. He's his big thing that I learned this year was like your business can't be successful without it being able to run without you.
Yeah.
Like a super foreign concept, like being Maggie Me and MeganFerlis.com like a couple years ago, only being just me and another person. But now I have Jordan and Danny and John and Riley on the team that they can just take on whatever. I don't have to necessarily be there anymore. So
That's that autonomy,
yeah, so
which is
nuts.
passive income to a certain point.
Yeah, which that's the shitty other thing. Like again on the education side, I'm like, how do I get rich as hell? Because I want to get comfortable. It's the kind of and that's whenever I learn like the difference is like I'll never be able to make that kind of money just being a solo, the only person working. So I have to be able to have like a massive team and multiple sources of income to ever reach that. But we'll see. I'm still broke as hell. I'm humble.
So I mean, a question with like making me like, what is your goal with that then? I mean, like
that's fun because it's like brand new right now into a new chapter. So it's fun now. I was thinking about it today. I was like, now I can mold it absolutely into anything I want, just because there's no scarcity anymore.
Yeah.
And that's why I messaged both of my lead shooters, and I was like, okay, I want to make sure that you guys are transparent as hell with me, make sure like whatever I can do to make you happy, and whatever jobs you want to do, I can make sure I funnel more of those to you. Continue the weekend weddings that I already have booked. And then for future ones, I think I'm going to niche down even harder to like try and do more same day edits. Because if I could just do that specialty at that rate and only do like 10 a year, perfect.
Yeah.
I'd be happy. But then like still probably book out the second shooters for going and doing their own solo stuff.
Yeah.
We'll see. In theory, it works. I mean, it's already happened. So
yeah.
But then I've like completely knocked out like business stuff minus the one company that I work for. So, and that's been nice because like it's just not a lot of money, a lot of work and time. So,
yeah. So with that, like, because I've tried to figure out over the past few years, I've really been trying to figure out like what words like mean to me, like definitions in a sense is like, what does the word success mean to you in your own words? Like not somebody else's, but like, what do you think?
Being able to have full control. That's success. No, I'm absolutely like, I got to reflect on that today. I'm like, I am so fucking lucky. I get to be lazy as hell. Like everyone else thinks I'm super busy. No, it's a facade. I'm probably the laziest person you'll ever meet. Which is a lie. It's my perspective. I feel like I get to rest a lot.
Yeah.
And it's just perfect. Like I'm loved by so many good friends. Like I get to spend genuine good time. I get to go on adventures. I have this freedom. So I don't think if I put a dollar amount on success, you wouldn't be happy once you hit that goal.
No. I think you talked about that in a previous episode. Is like once you're there, it's like, okay, well, now I can start doing it again. Like I don't know, you're never satisfied.
No, never, ever.
Yeah, where you have to constantly remind yourself. It's like you have to be humble. You have to be appreciative of what you have, but yeah. So I mean, like and that's something that I'm trying to navigate through, like working with like a full-time job, and working as like in the creative industry with like wedding photography or any sort of photography. Because I didn't start my business right at high school or even college. Like I have like a decade of like the white collar in an office, like dealing with that kind of stuff. But now I'm coming back into it and I'm like looking at it with my previous education and I'm like, I don't know how to pivot from my full-time job to the creative job financially responsibly, where like right now I am living with my wife. We have like a household income, and it's like it's really hard to take the leap of faith, like to just go straight into like a contracting role, or because I mean you're not getting a paycheck every 2 weeks, so you have to be
I feel like the scariest part of it, like that I always think for other people that I just have gone without at some points too in life, is insurance.
Yeah.
Do you get insurance through your job or no?
I get insurance through my job, but if I would get insurance through Sarah's job as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then fuck it. It will never be the right time, but you can't
Yeah.
strategize. That's like a good thing. Like, don't completely fuck it. But fuck the thoughts that you have.
You just have to wear a lot of hats.
Yeah.
So.
I understand. I definitely respect a lot of people, and that's what Michael kind of joked with me whenever I saw him like a month or two ago. I finally surpassed him in the length of being in the wedding industry. He's like, how are you still doing it? And I was like, well, I kind of enjoy it because, like, I don't know, I like that, I love that stress. Like, it makes the day go by quick, you know? But I can see how like, people just, it's not fun, and it's not good on the body if you don't know how to handle it. And it's just not fun. I mean, some people are not fun on wedding days, like clientele based, not necessarily like the people that you work with.
Or I mean, some vendors can be pretty bad as well.
Like you like them for the day. Like, thanks so much.
Yeah. Like whenever a DJ doesn't tell you that they're playing the first song, you're like, you're eating and you're like, oh my gosh.
I kind of kill them with kindness in the beginning of the night, and I'll like kind of, oh man, last weekend I had a DJ screw me over. I just really hope that doesn't happen again.
Whereas like you're just like coaching them.
Yeah. I want them to think, like, okay, I'm gonna be aware. Yeah, but no, I haven't had a bad vendor in a while. I remember being younger, being like a little 16-year-old doing weddings and having a photographer pissed that this little girl was getting paid as much as him for a wedding day. That used to be hard, but
Who cares? It's like
I mean,
it's
a photographer, homies.
yeah. Spread the wealth, spread the love.
Yeah.
Like everybody deserves a shot of in that creative pool. And
Community over competition.
oh yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about your new group that you started, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
So
still need to do my introduction. I've been like too scared to do it.
I know some people are. There's been a good amount of people that have done the introduction. So like St. Louis Creates is a creative community that I'm trying to. I mean, I am. So like we have our first meetup June 25th on a Sunday. So this Sunday at Grand Basin, we're in Forest Park. So like I'm wanting to. So like in Denver, they had these groups out there that like you have really tight-knit communities of creatives that you can tap into and bounce ideas off of, trade for a portfolio, just like friends that are other creatives where you can like come to with problems, or like if you have stress at like a weddings, you're able to like be able to have those conversations with people who really understand. So you're not having to go home and bring that stress home. You're not having to like you can talk with somebody else that understands. But really like what this is meant to do is just unite the St. Louis creative community with people who really want to create artwork, models, photographers, but I mean it's not going to just stop there. It's like you can have floors. I mean you can have like any vendors come in and like put these on, and but I'm just trying to create a comfortable and safe environment for people to come and tap into their creativity.
Those are my favorite kind of shoots. And no offense to people that pay me to do photo shoots, but any of the free, like working with like models that actually enjoy modeling, not just you random morning a picture. Get so much energy. Like, have you worked with Mars yet?
I do,
Justin just shot them the other day.
I don't believe so.
But them and then one of my old friends who moved out to California, her name is Becca Peterson. I would just my battery fully charged afterwards. I'm like, this is the best thing ever. Like, thank you. Then I go do a family shoot the next day and be like, I fucking hate being a photographer. Don't call me a photographer. Don't you dare. I'm a videographer.
I gotta take a picture of one more baby. It's like.
Are there any like niches that you like absolutely refuse to do?
I won't say. There are people that I refer to for like maternity shoots. newborns, stuff like that. Like, I can do it. I just like right now, my time is so spread thin that if I say yes to something, I'm saying no to something else, which is like really important to me. So I'm trying to be very intentional with my time. Long story long, it's like I want to make sure that I'm shooting what I love to shoot.
That's good.
Yeah.
Smart. So other than weddings, what's your like favorite thing? Like just one-on-one portrait, or like multiple people, or event, or
I love the portrait side of things. So I coming together with like concepts with like a model or something like that. Like those are like my play days where I can just play around with lights. There's no real like similar to like if it's just a trade for a portfolio. If there's no like money being exchanged, no expectations. I love it. Yeah, everybody's just chill.
yeah.
Or like I really am. So over this past year, I've been shooting more events, like corporate events. So I was lucky to shoot like Papa John's, Chipotle. I went to like San Diego for a week and like Orlando for a week. Going to Big Sky, Montana next month, which is crazy. Like you could have said last year that I'd be doing this, and I would think you'd be kidding. I know, which is like a cool thing to like really reflect on. It's like something to be like proud about. But I love the event side of photography. It's like as much as I love being in front of like a model or like a family where it's like just very personal, where it's just like you two, I also love just like being able to float in a crowd of like 1,500 people and just be a fly on the wall and tell that story. I mean, go in and get a group shot whenever you need one, or
it's less. I won't say it's less effort, but I love candid photography way more than anything else. It seems more natural.
How do you protect your storage?
I pay a lot of money in Google Drive, and all the final stuff ends up on Google Drive or Pixie for storage online. And then I have like 2 massive external hard drives that I plug in for just backups, and then they go back into a fire safe. And then I have a second backup on another hard drive that stays in my office, and then I had the hard drive that I'm like looking on. So
yeah,
a lot. I like Western Digital. She would have sponsored. I'll gladly take it. Maybe one day, like Western Digital ski soda.
Influencer status. Big Western Digital banner.
Going back on descriptions of words and everything, success to me, a ski sponsorship.
I mean, yeah. I mean, like, one of my friends, she tags like everything in Instagram posts.
Yeah.
And she tagged Olipop.
Yeah.
Do you know those like Olipop drinks? They're bomb.
Yeah.
They're expensive. But anyways, she tagged them in an Instagram post, and she had her registry in her Instagram bio.
Yeah.
Olipop bought something off her registry and mailed her like a case of like 24 Olipops, just because she like.
Yes.
But that's the power of social media. Mm-hmm. If you're tagging these people and if you're staying in front of them, not just clients, but like sponsors.
Yeah. That's what in Brain Center, I always joke because I'm always like, I need to take a break from media, but I know I could easily, and what I did this weekend kind of is go and make a quick video at one of the like mini golf places. And then they gave one of our friends a free game just because he could play a harmonica. So I was like, if I make the whole video, we can get some free stuff.
Yeah.
I always have those aspirations. I never go through with it. And I'm like, that's a possibility. You can steal that if you're a videographer.
That's kind of fun, yeah.
I get a bunch of free shit on vacation. Work a little bit.
Yeah.
But now, what other questions do I have? See, this is a self-aware moment.
Yeah.
You ever get overwhelmed?
Totally. It's a bit. This was kind of where I wanted to take it, because you were talking about like the stress of weddings, and dealing with the stress and dealing with like being overwhelmed and like not knowing what to do, where to go, how to do it, when to do it, where to do it. Yeah, I mean, like I feel right now, like with 2 jobs, like I feel overwhelmed like all the time, and it's all stress management and trying to like navigate through the forest to try to come out in one piece. And it's like, It's hard.
It's rough. And then it's a constant battle of being self-aware, because as soon as you find that balance, if it even exists, it'll be different the next day.
And I think like similar to success, like what does balance mean to you? Because balance is a crazy word. It's a loaded word.
Yes.
And I think with balance, you really have to set the general expectation that like life will never be balanced, but your mindset can be. It's like you can find happiness, but with that happiness, you also have to be able to like see pain, sit through pain, because like as somebody with ADHD and like somebody who's like very eccentric and like I'm just all over the place. I'm constantly trying to gravitate towards like the good, the happy, the fun stuff. And as soon as like things get tough, I get going. It's like I'm off to like something else that'll make me happy. It's like it really is like the dopamine dump. Like you're constantly trying to fuel that feel good feeling.
And that's like, I think we're pretty blessed in the industry that we're in, because there's so many different things that you can switch back and forth from, so then you don't get stuck doing the same thing over and over again, and then it's no longer giving you the dopamine that you want. But that's still like a tough thing to be aware of and practice. Like it definitely, like whenever you were talking about being in your yes era, saying yes to everything, it was probably harder to like make time for yourself.
Make time for me, make time for my wife.
Spouse,
Yeah, like that's hard. I mean, like that put a strain on like our household. That put a strain on me for sure. I shot 47 weddings last season, and that was brutal. Like I had multiple triple weekends. Like it was disgusting. And like I am happy I did it. I don't think I would change it. Because it's what's the saying? It's like trials and tribulations. It's like you have to go through these trials to figure out. It's like fail fast, and I learned from that mistake, but like it was a happy mistake. So now this year, I'm like, I know who I'm working with. I have my photographers that I know. I know that they know me. They trust me, and like that trust is so much more rewarding than just saying yes and really just stretching yourself thin.
I've definitely learned too that like the difference of being able to do something and enjoying doing something. I can do about anything. That's the joy. It's like I can learn really quick, and I can do any type of project, but am I going to enjoy every type of project? And is it going to be worth with like what time you have to do it? But then that's why it's amazing having like a community that you build out, and you can easily go.
Yeah, you can pass it on, and that's the beauty of a community, of a creative community, is you're building a network of somebody that you can just blindly pass it off to because you trust them.
Absolutely.
And I think that there's so much positivity in that. That's where I would love to see, well, the community that I'm trying to orchestrate, but I mean like just the network of the people in the Midwest is like everybody works together. Even if you have like 20,000 followers or you have 500 followers, like come together. Like nobody's better than anybody else. Everybody started from the same page.
A little different special magic power that we can all learn from each other.
Yeah.
I think we all have a real good mindset about not feeling like we've achieved full knowledge. There's always
Totally.
room for more. Yeah. That's what I don't know. Well, it used to be different, definitely for sure. Like while you were away in Denver, I feel like that time period of whenever I was first kind of starting to get involved with the community, it was nasty.
Yeah.
But now it's like, I'm not really scared of many people. There's a few that I'm like, oh, you can just stay over there. But
Yeah.
majority of everyone, even like the big and the small, seem like homies now. So.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, it really is like spreading that wealth. Because, I mean, you can't, like, you only have 100%.
Yeah.
And you don't have anything more to give yourself.
Yeah.
So it's like, where are you going to spend that 100%? You can't serve two masters. You have to be able to like really be intentional with you and your time and what you want out of life.
So what do you do when you're overwhelmed? Like, what's your favorite thing to like escape or like reset? Or do you just
I've recently been taking a film camera and I will go drive to Forest Park. I'll park in one random spot and I will say, I'm going to walk in this one direction. Like I won't take a path. I won't like, I'll dodge like a river or something, but I'll just like walk in a straight line and I'll just take pictures along the way. And like, I'll be listening to like some Alan Watts podcast. Alan Watts is a G, like he's awesome. He preaches Western culture, but in an Eastern religious way.
That's cool.
So he brings this like Western ideology into an Eastern religion. I mean, like, but it's all like very philosophically driven.
That's cool.
So it's
Send me that link.
oh totally yeah, it's very grounding. Like I'll like take my shoes off and just like walk in like the grass and like that's what is hard living in like the city is like you feel like you're doing the same thing over and over and over and you get kind of like Groundhog Day in a sense, especially with like a Monday through Friday job. So you just need to like disconnect.
Yeah. That's definitely important.
Yeah.
All the many other things to
Yeah.
put on the list of stuff to keep balance of. But
What about yourself? Like how are you?
Minecraft.
Right
I
on.
sit there, I disconnect, I'll build. I won't play Minecraft for like months, so then I'll hit my point of insanity. And I'll spend about 12 hours straight building some massive complex. And I'm like, okay. And then I'll delete it, so then I don't go back to it. You know what I mean? Because I'll keep on going back and back
Yeah.
with it. But yeah, Minecraft and then just friends.
Yeah.
Honestly. Like bonfires. I'll make that happen out of the blue, just so I can disconnect and very much so like spiritually like try and reset breath work and meditation stuff like that. But
Are you actively meditating?
yeah, every day I follow a YouTube. It's called like guided meditation.
Yeah, cool.
Love it. Like a 10-minute one.
Yeah.
I love the ones where you like hug yourself. And I'm like, oh.
I love that. I have the Headspace app.
Yeah.
And like the whatever, like just like those meditation apps, but it's like I feel like it's just another thing to consume. I know it's positive for me.
Yeah.
But it's so easy to like click. I mean, I go to my time waste folder and I'll go to like YouTube and I'm like, I'm just gonna blow like 30 minutes on something that is like some bullshit. Yeah. Whereas like I could be much more intentional with my time and like listen to like a 15-20 minute like meditation, but I'm seeking some sort of stimulation
Yeah.
that like looking.
Back to the ADHD.
I know, like looking within is not fulfilling.
No, not at all. What powers your passion? Like, what keeps you going?
That's a good question. I think what keeps me going is the fact that I can see myself actually doing the work of a creative, and there was a sales video that I watched a while ago. It's like it's three circles: why, how, what. And like if you start with the why and you work your way out, like that's how you build like an actual message. That's how you build like purpose. So I think like my why is, I think like the abilities that I'm able to help others see is strong enough for me to continue to tell people's stories.
Yeah.
And I want to give more than I can take. And until I stop doing that, it's like I don't want to, I continuously want to create.
That's good. Yeah. I definitely think it is special to show people the way you see them, just because most people do have a negative outlook of themselves. So different perspectives is fun. And yeah, just being able to put stuff out in the world, I definitely see that. I always have, because I want to look back,
Yeah.
being able to have that kind of memory freezed in the world forever,
And every picture has 3 pictures to go with it. It's like you have your scene setter, which is like the 35 or 28-35. You have your standard, which is like 50 mil, and then you have your detail, which is like 85, 135. It's like every picture out there can have 3 different three different angles, and like people don't look for that and look into that. So like if you incorporate that into a wedding day, and you're able to like really like dive in and tell that person's story that they want told, be like making sure that you are a good fit for them, and they're also a good fit for you. That's where like the magic happens. And you are just an extension of the day that is a creative vision of theirs. And there's something really beautiful in that.
Have you got to experience a wedding as just a guest?
Yeah, it's super awkward.
I got to do it for the first time ever, just a couple of months ago, ever. Okay, it was such a fucking foreign thing to me.
Yeah.
And that's where I got to realize the different, like, metronome. So, like, we work on wedding days. We're like, that's how fast we're working. We're looking at all these different things that a guest 100% would never see. There's like 90% of the day that photographers see. Guests have no clue at all.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh wow, I'm sitting here as a wedding guest. This is the slowest day of my life. And then like I went to it with it was one of our bandmates, and the other drummer is Jordan, who's my second shooter, and his wife is making fun of us because we're like, what's the schedule of events?
Your hands
What's
are
happening?
sweaty,
Like,
like
what do I do? I feel like I'm missing something. Like we're actually getting fed. Like we don't have to be here to watch this if we don't want to.
oh my gosh.
Abby's like, don't you dare look at that. I saw you almost take a picture of the events of the schedule events. I was like, Abby, don't give me shit.
Yeah, I get really like anxiety driven. It's like I remember I was just at a wedding like a few weeks ago, and you get really antsy because you're sitting in the pew or sitting wherever you're sitting right before the ceremony starts, and you're not moving.
Yeah.
And you're like, man, I'm missing all these really good angles, this lighting, like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, you're a guest.
Yeah. It was nice. I lived it up. It was like, I told the groom about 10 times, I was like, thank you for giving me this experience. I know it sucks that you don't have a wedding video, but thank you. I wish more friends did this.
Yeah.
But let me see another question. All right, here's 2 good ones. All right, the first one. Which one do I want to do first? I want a goal for your future, but I don't want it to be hyper realistic. I want it to be something that's like, because like what you said, a year ago you would have never guessed that you were
Totally.
today. And it's so hard to even think where we're going to be in 6 months from now.
Yeah.
But what's something that you would absolutely be just so happy feeling that you want to experience?
It's so funny you asked this because I was journaling earlier today, and I was like, what are these podcasts, and like what is the purpose of them? And I mean, there's a ton of purpose and in what you're doing. And I think like one thing that I see it because again, it's my language versus your language, my what it means to me or whatever. Anyways, this is like a time capsule.
Oh, 100% to me.
And this, like, we're encapsulating these moments, and I mean, I'm gonna listen to this. You're gonna listen to this probably a lot of times if you're editing it. But I mean, like, you're gonna be able to look back. I mean, as a guest, I'm gonna be able to look back and be like, I am a completely different person.
Absolutely.
And that Nathan then to the Nathan that now, like where I want to be is I want to figure out the transition from full-time Nate in a career with a steady income to figuring out how I can go to creative Nate with not a steady income, but I'm making oodles of more, like, not money, because it's not about the money, it's about the wealth. And like wealth just isn't money. Wealth is happiness. There's so much, freedom. There's so much that goes into wealth. And like if I'm able to like capture that, like that's my goal. Is I want to find the way that I can be more wealthy. It's funny because with like my counseling and things like that, I am, and like with my journaling, I've been like trying to figure out who I am as not just a creative, but like who I am as an entrepreneur, because those are two really different things. There are people that are not meant to be business owners. And I think if you can tell a good story, that's one thing, but if you can run a good business, that's a whole nother thing. And like saying yes to 50 some odd weddings last year was great. That was just like busy work. That was like me being creative, but that wasn't me being entrepreneurial. I was able to make money doing it, which is great. But I mean, like, how can you figure out that? How can you bridge the gap between being the creative to being the entrepreneur? And I mean, like, what I know now with my back end, I mean, like, I know my back end's lacking still. My social media presence is lacking. Like, I don't truly feel comfortable with myself today if I would be my own boss to be a full-time photographer. But that doesn't mean that I can't take the next few steps to become that.
Yeah. Here's my advice. I love it. Steve Harvey says.
Steve Harvey's.
Oh, he's a piece of shit, but I still love him. He's funny.
He is funny.
To be able to fly, you gotta make the jump off the cliff.
Totally.
But you don't fly immediately. You're gonna stumble and hurt yourself and roll and hit all these rocks until you finally get some wind underneath your wings.
Yeah.
So it's never gonna be the perfect time to make this transition. It's gonna be uncomfortable, scary as fuck.
Totally.
Do it, but oh my god, 6 months after you do it, because I feel like you have everything you need, like even now in this moment, to do it. It'll take a little bit more effort, of course, but
Yeah.
you have all the knowledge and all the tools and the network and the experience. And
That's another thing of like what I'm wanting to do with like the St. Louis Creates is like have these entrepreneurial meetups where you can have a cohesive group of people that are getting together and creatively collaborating as just intelligent entrepreneurs.
yeah,
And at the beginning, it's going to be very like wide based. So like it's very diluted with anyone and everybody that wants to come because it's an all inclusive, like nobody's going to be gatekept unless you're like toxic or unless like you make somebody feel like uncomfortable, like you're going to be on a shit list. Like, and I have no problem telling somebody to leave on Sunday if like if we have any issues. But yeah, eventually like the idea is to niche down so people can have like social groups within these groups. And I mean, like, I'm not wanting to like recreate friend groups for people because people are going to always have friend groups, but I mean, like, you can have like different communities here and there.
I think the big thing is just you creating the space for it to happen, or it'll all fall naturally into like,
Yeah.
what you're wanting into niches.
I think that's what makes a good entrepreneur is like, and those are the things I'm trying to learn is like, just build it and like let it develop in front of you. Like you don't have to have your hands on everything as you're learning with like, with outsourcing, like Maggie Me is like, you're realizing that you don't need to be in control of everything to still be making money doing it,
Absolutely.
which is really cool.
Yeah, and just being able to have other people that have supported me, now I get to like fully support them too. So
And that's giving more than you're taking. And that's
this is what I texted Jordan today. I was like, I love you so much, man, and everything. My main goal is to make sure you're happy, your family's happy, and I'm supporting your dreams. So like that's the only thing I care about right now.
and because he's your family.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's so beautiful to be able to create space like that and have comrades almost. Like,
Yeah.
shit sucks some days, but boy, is it worth it. Like,
Yeah. And you have to like be able to be fine with those bad days.
yeah.
But
So here's something to tie in. What would you tell little high school Nathan, or even little baby Nathan that just found his crampons?
yeah. No, I because the other podcast episodes you've been
I have
asking this question, which is like fun because like every time you ask it, I'm like, huh. And it's so funny. It's like, it's not as serious as you think it is. Like life is gonna give you lemons. Life is gonna be tough, but don't always run away from the tough things. I think the world unfolds in a very peculiar way that teaches us lessons. And if we try to close our mind out of those lessons, we're closing our mind out for an opportunity to really learn what it means to be not just happy all the time, but like challenged. And I think it's really easy to avoid challenge, but by not challenging yourself, you're never going to grow.
You have to go through your hardening phase. My parents always called it the paying your dues.
Yeah. Sweat equity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so almost addicted to it. That's why I love going through the shit just to like learn something.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's good advice.
Life is so funny. Like, I mean, I just said like, don't take things too seriously, but I mean, like, don't stop wanting to explore. Like, don't think that you have to do one thing for the rest of your life, or like, you only should do like one hobby. Like, have fun. Like, I am so happy with myself that I have continuously found new hobbies along the way. Because like, whether it's some bullshit hobby of like staying up late with my uncle and like going over like networking of my house, it's like, do I need to know that? Probably not. But it's like, those are the things that like later down my life I'm going to remember, not just for like the time I'm spending, with him, talking with him, but like, I now know something. Like, it's very like third grade level, but I mean, like, I now know like these basic concepts of it. So I mean, I guess to boil it down is like, just always learn, always be curious.
Yes. And I love hanging out with the older generations, and they still are very much have that mindset.
Yeah, as soon as you stop being curious is whenever you really stop living.
Yeah, no. Even my me mom, she'll ask everything what's going on. We'll have deep conversations about the differences between her generation and mine. But
gotta love the meemaws.
We'll sit and talk about drugs and all the different kinds of drugs, LGBT, the problem with racism in the world, and every deep conversation you would ever have with your grandma. But it's my favorite.
That's so fun.
You have any like final thoughts that you want to put in this beautiful time capsule?
Oh, I think, there's something that I listened to from Alan Watts. He was talking about like waking up in the morning. And myself, like, I am always like thinking. I'm always thinking about like the good, the bad, the ugly. Like, I'm always like trying to fix problems, just problem solve everyday life things. Trying to think of the happy things, the sad things, whatever. But his thing is like, whenever you wake up in the morning, you're having all these thoughts. You're thinking about the future, you're thinking about the past, you're thinking about the good, the bad, the ugly. But at the end of the day, like, really at the end of it, you're just lying in bed. It's like, be present with who you are in that moment. And I think I have a hard time doing that sometimes. I think a lot of people do. And I think it's because of how connected everybody is. And I think like I'm really wanting to, I guess, time capsule. I'm really wanting to be intentional with, my journaling, with my meditation, with like my inner alignment, to make sure that like I am taking care of myself. Because like, if you don't take care of yourself, how are you supposed to show up for a significant other? Or how are you supposed to show up for a bride and groom that paid you X amount of money? It's like, you are your own temple. And if you can't treat yourself with respect, how are you gonna like walk around and try to ask for respect from somebody else?
Pouring out of an empty cup,
Yeah. So you have to constantly be filling your cup up. I think that's what's most important. That's wealth.
Yes.
That's the pursuit of happiness. And the pursuit of happiness isn't always happy. And that's okay. And I have to that's something you have to constantly remind yourself of.
Absolutely. You have to have the cloudy days to be able to appreciate the nice sunny days.
Yeah. And you have to appreciate the cloudy days.
Oh, yeah.
And I
It
think
may be painful to go through, but it's also part of life. Like,
it's like whenever you fall, you're like, damn it, that really sucked. But like 2 days later, you're like, that shit was funny.
Yeah.
Like, I wish somebody would have saw that. I mean, it's kind of like that. Like, you just have to
make the best out of it.
make the
Yeah,
best of
all
it.
about perspective.
It's not as serious because at the end of the day, you're just lying in bed. So.
That's what I'm doing most of my life. Like what I said, everyone thanks Lightroom app for being on the phone. Best
Yeah.
person in my head.
Totally.
Laying in bed. I call this a successful podcast.
I did too.
We did it.
That's a wrap.